Welcome to the Archotechs, a RimWorld fluid ideology series about pursuing the Archonexus. Episode 47, The Grand Hall. To briefly recap last episode, we were hosting some refugees, and I was offered to betray them for a shock lance, but decided to enslave them instead and gift them to the Royal Tribute Collector. We have moved the slave quarter down here, so that it's not going to be a problem having them crowd around Sven anymore. And then we built the perimeter wall here and disabled most of the Met cluster, leaving just the climate adjuster, which is actually helping us. This episode, what I'm planning on doing is changing the way I was going to treat these entry gates. I was going to steel floor them up, but instead, I think what I'm going to do is to roof them up. So that's project number one. So the roof here is going to also include, it's also going to include a little entry here. And the purpose of that, here, this will be easier if I just ignore first. The purpose of that is to stop trees from growing to block the walking path. It's just a little 3x7 on these gates. Next up, I'll be adding these areas to the home zone so that they're repaired and maintained and missing wall segments are replaced. Let's go ahead and update this home zone that hadn't been updated in a bit. This also means that all of the ash from previous fires that are inside our walls are going to have to be cleaned up, but that's fine. That's slave work. They'll get around to that around here. Another zone that I want is an inside zone. So the inside zone is going to be used if there is a danger or threat outdoors, like let's say manhunters, something like that. Which will allow me to very easily sequester everybody indoors and keep them safe from harm. And I'll be removing the entryway gates from the inside zone once I'm done painting. It's probably easier to remove it than to avoid adding it. So the focus of this episode is going to be a little bit of our defenses, making sure that we have the means to defend ourselves, meaning that before I go too far, let's get the uranium up here mined by Bunny. And then also to ramp up production through fabrication and the like. So that is another goal. Getting the fabricator running. A stretch goal would be to get geothermal generators going, but that's a lot of research, and I don't know if Sven is going to be able to manage that in time. So there's our inside zone. The inside zone is... All right, let's do it like this. Inside slaves. And then another one inside. Oh man, they're the same color. Let me try that again. Go for, yeah, there we go. Inside. So the inside slaves means that they're not going to be able to access the weapons area, because if there's a danger outdoors, the last thing I want is slaves to go into the weapons room, arm themselves, and rebel. I don't need to turn one danger into two, so I will take the time to paint the zone basically twice. There are mods that allow you to copy and paste area zones. It's just not one of those mods I'm running in this series, but it is a mod that I pretty commonly use because it's not that game changing. So this is the inside zone for the colonists, and maybe I'll name it colonists, inside colonists, and inside slaves. So the reason I'm grabbing the uranium up north is so that I can make uranium mini turrets. I want to preserve the plasteel, because plasteel is a rather precious resource that I'm not really sure I have a lot of. Another thing I'm going to do is to redesign this crafting room to accommodate the fabricator. So everything is going to get moved around a little bit. So I'll be putting the fabricator here, which means getting shelving. I'm going to do limestone shelves. Getting limestone shelves around this area. And then moving the tool benches central. I'm going to power everything off of one light, moving this other light, let's say there. And then put a skull there, moving this skull over here. I did get some YouTube comments wondering why I'm not using gibbet cages or terror sculptures. And the simple answer is because I don't need them. If you want the full reason why I don't need them, you can watch the slavery tutorial that I have linked in the description of this video. But as long as the slaves are wearing slave collars and the body straps, there's really not much of a need for terror sculptures or gibbet cages, as all they do is they lower the suppression fall rate. And my suppression fall rate is 0, so I don't really need to lower it. Nothing is better than 0. So these are the shelves that we're going to be using to store things like steel, plasteel, uranium, gold, or not uranium, steel, plasteel, gold, etc. So let's set these up. This one will be steel. This could be plasteel. Components. Advanced components. Gold. And cloth. And fabrication just got done, so we're going to queue up advanced fabrication next. So now that we have a use for plasteel, or soon a use for plasteel, let's get some of this plasteel that has yet to be mined now that Bunny has got some of the uranium up there. Another thing I wanted to mention is, because I don't have a valid path for raiders to walk into the base, I need to leave one of these doors open and then remember that if I get attacked by manhunters or something like that, that door has to shut. So there's a fabricator. And I'm going to set a make components queue up to 50. Because if I'm going to be adding geothermal generators, they require a lot of components, so that would be good for Trustin to start smithing. Now, a stretch goal for myself is to wall off the inner compound. I don't know if that's going to be something that I'm going to be able to do this episode, but I'd like to. That's probably for next episode, I suspect. Probably don't need turtles or tortoises wandering around my base. So let's get them cleared out. And now we have our benches nice and laid out. Oh, speaking of manhunted animals, we're going to have the opportunity to kill some boar in a second. I am gonna fall back a little bit. And then also have Sven join us. So we don't get gored. Here, as you can see, I'm using the pen marker walls as a method to slow them down. But because the pen markers are only made out of, yeah, let me skip these guys away. Oh, you're already confused. Pen markers are only made out of wood. It doesn't take very long for them to bust through. Okay, I think that's all of them. It does remind me that, oh no, I hear more. It does remind me that I would like to replace the pen at some point to be a little hardier, fireproof, etc. JD is being chased. Here, let's get my shooters a little closer so they can actually help. And it looks like, oh, Droiden, unfortunately for Jordan, was out here and got himself knocked out. So we'll be fixing that in just a second. So let's take a look. These two, hostile. Copy. Denisha, you have two closing in on you as well. Sven's gonna go help you. JD can get back to work. My shooters are coming up. Denisha should be fine. Okay. The last two remaining, let's make sure that these are indeed the last two remaining. So go to numbers, go to enemies. Yes, the last two remaining are getting dealt with now. For Droiden, I'm going to actually heal you with herbal meds. So, Sven, let's go ahead and switch the meds that you carry. So I'm going to start to carry herbal meds for Trustin and Droiden. Or Trustin and Sven, rather. And we'll get that tending in just a second, because he only has 4 hours to live. So. Okay, they're all killed. Sven, go tend to Droiden. I'm using meds here so that Jordan can get back to work, because being out of work for a long time means that, you know, we're not getting stuff that I want done. And finishing off that tending now. Bonnie can also do a preach health, getting Jordan back on. Oh, Jordan is asleep and cannot walk. Never mind. We'll preach health once he's conscious. Now the temperature here, the ambient temperature is getting a little low, so I might actually want to destroy that climate adjuster. So once Bunny's up, that's probably something I'm going to do with her. I'm going to wake her up a little early. Oh, and Droiden got an infection. So the problem with Droiden getting an infection, what body part is it? Torso? Oh man, that is the worst part. Is Droiden only has one kidney, which means I'm going to need a donor kidney to keep him alive. So that's going to be a bit of an issue here. I am looking at you, Ancient Danger. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the Ancient Danger and use one of the people in the Ancient Danger's kidneys to keep Jordan alive. Which means that climate adjuster is just going to have to wait, I think. No, with preach health and decent meds, Jordan might actually have a hope of outpacing this infection without a donor kidney, I'll just keep an eye on it. Because I don't want to open up the Ancient Danger if I can help it. I have other tasks that I'd rather attend to. And I can also give Jordan literal meds to speed up the process as well. Ooh, so much free pork. So we're nearly done with all of the components that I've queued up. I also failed to mention, congratulations to Fairy, Bryce, and Ed on Edge for winning characters in the raffle. And I guess I have another foal to raffle off as well soon. Okay, Droiden, you should be on bed rest. Because you'll die if you aren't. But it looks like your immunity is outpacing your infections, so as long as we keep you nice and healed, I think you'll be alright. Worst case scenario, I could also use the Heal Mech Serum to recover that missing kidney, as that would be another valid way to do it. And Trustin, I have a new task for you. So this is going to be the compound task that I was referring to. So let's start to get bridges up. Where I need them. So there's all the colony treatment. There we have all of the plasteel that I'm going to be able to mine. Ooh, roof collapsed almost on my head. That's not good. $47.34. Okay. Yeah, you should be all right. So here's the plan. The plan is to totally surround this compound with walls. With granite walls, to be specific. Why? Just because I think it's kind of a crazy thing to do. Kind of a fun project. It serves very little purpose, I'll be completely honest there. But regardless of the purpose it serves, I'm gonna do it. Some nice rain to wash away the blood from all the boars, and a little bit of Droiden's blood as well. So if you're wondering what this is going to look like, hosting a friend. 6 days. And she's paralyzed. Yeah, the Goodwill with Westinia? No. Won't be doing that. So what this is going to look like is a perimeter wall around everything. Which is definitely a little interruptive in some spots. Right? It's going to delete some of the farmland. That's fine. And then I'll put doors here as well. The perimeter wall's going to go around the geogeny. And then it's going to replace the pen marker walls as well. So we'll put a door to the farm, door to the outside, another door to the outside, another one to the outside. And I don't need to set all of this up immediately. This will get built over time. So there is some of that wall. And I'm going to queue up cut plants for where there are plants in the way, so that my constructors don't have to do it. The slave farmers will. One very large compound. Hey, the Relic of Dominance. Awesome. I'll be sure to embark on that pretty soon. As soon as the first quests get offered. Oh yeah, he'll be fine. So it's a big project, and we're going to very quickly run out of material for it. Sven is about almost closing in on half. All right, medical emergency and infection immunity. Perfect. It's a good reminder that I need another kidney, though. So I don't want to run that risk forever. Put another door in here. A lot of doors to access the farm. So it's overlapping perimeter, right? There's an outer wall and an inner wall. You can think of it that way. Until I have some more granite cut, I'm not going to bother queuing up any more of this project. Now, some of the base here is going to get kind of dark because it's not illuminated at the moment. But eventually all of this will be roofed off as well. Oop, not that part. I think these generators are going to get destroyed once I have geothermal. An ambrosia sprout. Oh, right next to the cluster. Okay, is that all of it? Yep, that is all of it. Yeah, that's a little bit more elegant. There we go. So yeah, some of the facilities in the dark. I'll illuminate it at some point. This definitely needs to remain a chimney, though. And then, honestly, these wooden doors here can be left open. This is not so much for security as it is for mood and design. So we're just past the halfway mark for Advanced Fab. So I think it is possible that we'll get it this episode. And then another task is to put moisture pumps down to try to remove some of the weaker wooden walls from the perimeter. Especially in this part and this part. But that's going to take some time as well. I'm going to trust into make a breach axe. Because I feel like at this point, the climate changer, the climate adjuster, is probably not helping me. So getting rid of it makes sense. So I'm going to have Bunny go out here with breach axe and just smash it. Breach axes are very effective at breaking things down, as you can see. Much faster than punching it. Cluster's gone. The remnants of the cluster now can be broken down for material. And then I'll switch Bunny's weapon out. Having a breach axe on hand for, you know, when you want to just destroy things really fast like that, kind of nice. The other thing I might want to do is right where these doors are, stick roofs as well for the same purposes I did the gates, so that we don't get trees up on the other side of them, blocking our movements. So it's not necessary on the farm because that's going to be sown crop, and it's not going to be possible to have trees there because there'll be crops there instead. But everywhere else where there's these doors, we'll just remove the overhang. All right, looking good. Perimeter is nearly complete, just a little bit more granite required. And then I'll probably wait until I have enough granite to complete this, to then bust the fence posts down and replace them with granite walls. Rustin idle? That can't be true. Is there no more granite chunks? Like, no, there's granite chunks here. My guess is the stone cutters are occupied. Yeah. All right. I guess I prematurely removed extra stone cutters, and probably ought to have not done that. So I'll get one more back. Didn't realize that they would fill up like this. There we go. Now he can cut stone. Wow, the temperature really shot up a lot, having destroyed the adjuster. No regrets. The other thing I might be able to do for granite is just to break down some monuments that have granite in them. Our architects really have no respect for the monuments and the things that came before them. So, destroying them makes a whole lot of sense. And Arden gave birth to a foal. I think at this rate, it might be pretty reasonable for me to start to sterilize animals so that I stop getting animals, because we're not really ranchers and we're not making a lot of wealth from ranching, not yet at least. So having a giant foal population doesn't make a ton of sense. And now we are... Oh, a slave rebellion. Just Jordan. Really? After all of the medical attention we've rendered you? I'm thinking that Sven is probably the best suited to put this down. Because the others are just going to kill Jordan outright. Yeah, it's probably the last time you're going to rebel. Whoa, we almost bashed your head in. Just about. Well, Sven got punched once. And then Jordan got punched the rest of them. Lessons got to be learned. Another thing is that Jordan's clothing is tattered. So I'm going to set up a permanent job here to do until I have, let's say, 2 of 95 plus slave collars. And then do the same for the body straps. Body straps out of, let's say, elephant leather as well. Kind of nicer than they might deserve, but get that going with Trustin. Oh man, more animals. I can run these animals to market, I suppose. I guess I'll return Jordan to bed. All right, I believe I have enough granite to complete this. And for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build a temporary wall around here. Eventually, this will be a permanent wall once I wean myself off of wood generators. And then we are pretty close to having this fully enclosed. I'm not that worried about the animals roaming away, because there's really nowhere to roam. For them to roam, they'd have to roam through this door, which is not that likely. Alright, so Jordan has switched clothing around. We haven't even patched him up yet. Alright, and now this is an enclosed zone. Fully enclosed. Which means this butcher table is going to be moved outside so that it's not going to produce filth for us. Let's put it... Put it here, I suppose. And then move the... Once the door is made, I'll move the actual storing of the butcher stuff. And then what I'm planning on doing is removing these granite doors. And having this center dining room be the whole dining room everywhere. This will make sense in a second. So taking a look at the overlay. Yeah, butchered animals can go there. Oh, I misclicked that. Cool. All right, there we go. Proper butchery. And now, the entire base and all of its hallways is a rec room and dining room, which means that I'll be able to set up furniture to eat on kind of anywhere I want, because it is all one shared structure. So that means I can have dining tables kind of everywhere. So I'll stick some dining tables around. We're also going to want to illuminate everything, but I'm not going to do that until I've got geothermal generators so that I'm not burning wood like crazy. So these little excellent, these little techist tables here will have stools on them so that people can eat at their convenience. And then in the center, I'll probably have this be particularly beautiful. And the purpose of that will be for the beauty and recreation. So I'm going to switch back from granite, because we're not really using granite at the moment, to limestone. So that I can make this furniture here. And I'm going to just put in a few lights. Fully knowing that I'm going to need more than what I'm installing right now. But put in a few lights so that we're not running around in the dark at a speed disadvantage. And we have a combat supplier coming in, and I have absolutely nothing to sell them. Okay, this light can actually go there. There we go. Alright, Jordan needs treatment. Even though you tried to rebel, I'll treat you, because having you move around slowly because you're beat up doesn't really benefit us in the long run. I am so very tempted to aggro all of those elephants and get this this caravan here destroyed, but since I don't have a lot of friends and I do have things to sell, that would probably ultimately be in my disadvantage. This cooler here is obviously not really working all that effectively anymore because it's just dumping heat from the room out to the rest of the room. So I'm going to fix that. And probably temperature control the facility itself, the entire base, which is a huge swath, but I'm going to do that once I have, again, geothermal generators. At least at the moment, this is temperate and should be okay to not have AC for the beer. No luck. I want you to continue making large sculptures instead of helping with the construction now. Well, you can make this wall, but everything else will be quality controlled. So taking a look at fighting for hire. Let's see. 3 groups of 30, 40, no. Look at the rewards. The rewards are terrible. Why do they keep offering these quests that have absolutely atrocious rewards, which are all monumental undertakings? Makes no sense. I have negative interest. Jordan is starving. Well, get yourself over to the NPM. It's not my problem. So advanced fabrication just got done, and we're going to double back down to geothermal generators and queue up some advanced components. So we'll do up until 20. Hit a little production command here. And this dining room here is becoming impressive now. One of the reasons why I have no luck on art is to install things to make it even more impressive, because it is also a recreation room. And let's have Sven head over to the caravan just to see if there's anything I can buy or sell. Probably not. I do have a little bit of a spare beer, so I could sell some beer. Could also sell some tea. And that's about it. Almost everything else I want to keep. Just a little bit of silver. Not every transaction needs to be best transaction ever or anything like that. I'm going to move these dead mechs outside so that the ugliness of the dead mechs don't affect the dining room anymore. Same reason why I moved the butcher table outside. And then the reason to space out these dining tables is so that people get the benefit of eating at a table, because we have a rather large footprint base, but as long as there are tables within about 30 tiles of everywhere that people eat, they will have the benefit of eating on a table. For the slaves, it doesn't really matter because they have to go to the nutrient paste dispenser, which means that we know where they're going to eat. They really have to eat around here. But for my colonists, that's not necessarily true. They have, you know, the entire base. So I'm putting these tables sort of strategically around the edges. With rough living, the pain is virtue, and then rough living welcomed means that we don't need to eat on tables, but I want to. I want to have the benefit of the you know, the mood benefits. Now, right now, my priority is to get enough art so that we can meditate faster. So we'll have 9 art pieces in here, and then we'll start to adorn our hallways with art the way we did last time. Keeping this facility clean is going to be a bit of a challenge, which is what all these slaves come in handy. Having them tidy up for us. And we're nearly done with all the limestone furniture that we wanted. That is the last of the pieces of it. Now, another thing I wanted to check is, do we have access to jade? I'm not really certain that we do. Oh man, that is a mistake. Let's haul that in before it fully decays. Yeah, I'm sort of curious if we have access to jade for me to make billiards and poker tables out of jade, but it looks like jade is not going to be an option. Now, one thing that we are going to be able to do is to start scanning for the deep drill. So let me queue up a deep drill scan spot here. It does cut into the stockpile by 1 tile, but it's not that big of a deal. So here's the ground pen scanner. There it is. And this is the last sculpture that's going to have to go into meditation. I'm also going to shrink this stockpile here so that, well, a few things have to happen. One, I'm going to start storing raw stone and steel out here. So this is going to be normal priority for raw resources of stone blocks and steel, because we don't really need to store it in here. So steel and stone blocks no longer going to be allowed in here. And then, actually, this whole stockpile is going to go by the wayside because it is going to be replaced by here. So here's what I'm going to do. Silver, I'm going to delete. I'm going to create a stockpile automatically. Actually, there we go. And then shrink it here. Call this just stockpile. This stockpile is going to be no stone blocks, no steel, low priority. With silver in the middle. And then the stone blocks and steel are going to be out here. Perfect. Get that nice and organized. Oh man, more fulls. Stop it. Too many. So that leaves a large swath for things like a crematorium or smelter, you know, that we already have, or stockpiles of slag, things that we might want in this zone. And there's yet another masterwork. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to move the good sculptures out and move the masterworks in, because side focus gain rate is a higher priority to me than, you know, a nice dining room. And then we have Sven at 89% as the quality of these statues go up. And that, my friends, is all the time I have for this episode. Thank you for tuning in to episode 47 of the Architects, the Grand Hall. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to join my gaming community, Rhadamant.com or the description of this video have a link to Discord. Thank you so very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next episode. Farewell.